Sunday rolls around and they're back on the screen. James and Dan, the wildest pair you've ever seen. Shooting up the airwaves, ready to ignite. Talking all things Poda, they're live tonight. From pile-ups to gear and crazy ham hacks, you never know where the convo tracks. One minute it's antennas, next it's a dare. Welcome to the world of the wild on-air affair. It's shenanigans, cranking up the sound. James and Dan taking Poda to town. Talking crazy calls and late-night thrills. Tuning up the bands with the power and the skills. Shenanigans, you know it's never a day. Every Sunday night they're bringing the game. They're swapping stories about the wildest roads. Park to park, from the highs to the groves. Radio's failing, but they make it through. Working those stations, yeah, nothing they can't do. James says, late shift's the thrill of it all. Dan's like, watch this pile up, I'll catch 'em all. With gear on the table and coffee in hand, they're rocking shenanigans across the land. It's shenanigans, cranking up the sound. James and Dan taking Poda to town. Talking crazy calls and late night thrills. Tuning up the bands with the power and the skills. Shenanigans, you know it's never a day. Every Sunday night they're bringing the game. From wild activations to DX trees, they're riding the waves, breaking all the beats. Maybe a bet on who's faster on the draw. No matter what they chat, they leave us in awe.
What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by, your one stop for everything adventure radio. Great music and a little bit of shenanigans.
Nanners.
Nannergans. Glad to see everybody in the chat filling up, especially if you're one of these guys right here. Not that makes you better than everybody else, but it makes you better than everybody else. These guys are awesome. Have great times with them. We just come back from Murphy, and I'm already thinking about Dayton and then Michigan. So I can't get enough of you guys. Also, I can't get enough of these guys right here. They're the ones in green in chat, and they'll be getting a new video drop just for them tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And then the ever-changing board with lots of changes. Lots and lots and lots of changes. Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie bumps Gramps back down to the fourth spot. Said third is mine, buddy. And let's see who else. Eastern Standard Time jumps into the top 5. James Jenner jumped up a couple of spots. Uniform jumped up. Victor come on the board from out of nowhere. So lots of moving going on. Dan, what you got going on, buddy?
A lot of shimmying and shaking on that board. That is for sure. What is up, everybody? It is Shenanigan Sunday. What is this? Episode 120. 120 episodes. Y'all have been hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Whiskey One, Whiskey Charlie was first in the chat. Yeah, buddy. Our buddy Ronnie, Kilo Oscar 4.
Zulu.
Romeo X-Ray was next. Kent, Kilo 9, Alpha Echo Echo. Hello, Kilo 4. Oh, Tata wants to know if Jack has got good internet tonight. I think he does. Yeah, we're good. Kilo Oscar 4, Golf, bravo. May the 4th be with you, Mo. What's happening, buddy? Mike 88 KB. Hello. Terry Knuckles is here. Kilo 8 Golf Quebec. Martini is in the house. Whiskey Delta 4 Juliet. Mike. Hello. Toby, always good to see you. Alpha Delta 2 Charlie Delta. And Gene McPhee from Killeen, Texas, N3XUS. What's up, buddy? Bob Mantell. Hey, y'all. And Bill, no, I did not go to a park yesterday. Bands were really bad yesterday, but good to see you in here, buddy. Kilo Oscar 4, Sierra X-Ray Hotel. Who else we got in here? There's my boo. We were just talking about him. Kilo Delta 9 Uniform Delta Victor. Yeah, that's him. And hello, everybody. Episode 120 of Shenanigans. Welcome.
That's right. Welcome, everybody. I did go to a park yesterday, even though the bands were garbage. But yeah. And for those of you who have asked and sent text, and if I haven't texted you back, yes, I am feeling better today. Blood pressure is back down and under control. I think so. Anyway, I haven't took it, but my head doesn't feel like it's popping like a top. So
your POTA pressure.
Yeah, my POTA pressure.
Yeah, the POTA pressure is now under control.
So,
what's up, Bob? Kilo Oscar 4 Zulu India Kilo and Hog Lover. Hawaii Dam was slamming today.
I'll tell you what, though, it is May the 4th be with you today. And I'll tell you what, the Force is doing all kinds of weird stuff to the bands.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, my first activation CW was absolutely rocking, getting contacts left and right. And then just every activation started slacking off. I got the sideband, and it was really weird. Everybody was up and down. 1 second, 5.9, the next second, 5.1. And I even got a 2.2 from the Duke of Alabama, and he was 5.9 to me. So
man, it's been rough last couple of days.
Yeah, it's been rough, but it's happening, man. It's happening out there, so it's going to be a good thing. I know it's shenanigans, and we like to play around, but I want to talk radio because all I've seen all week is what I've been talking about for the past 3 years. And I'm like really excited for this thing. It is the FX1 series radio.
I got 3 of them in the mail coming already.
You got 3 of them in the mail?
Yeah, man.
Well, you're a special person. But this thing right here, in my opinion, is going to change a lot of things. Number one, it's going to change me and PP Man from arguing all the time. He's going to say QRP and I'm going to say QRO. Well, we can get them both, guys. That's right here. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting this right here. I was expecting the field. I've been saying it for 3 years that these guys have been working on a 705 killer.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a 705 killer. I think it's a game changer because not only can you get the field, but you can get the Optima. Did I go too far? No, I didn't. My daggone scrollers. That's what happens when you use a big screen. You can get the one on the left here. And so this field head on the right, it'll snap right in to that unit on the left, and then it goes from. Well, if you're using the internal battery on the field head, it's 6 watts. If you're using an external battery, which I do, I don't never use the internal batteries. I always use an external. I don't know why. It just, I guess it's that be prepared thing, but it jumps to 10 watts. And I would still run it at 5. That's the bad thing. I would still run it at 5 and pack battery. But if you clip it into that other piece, you got a 100-watt radio. And that right there think about it. If you're just getting into POTA, do I want to hunt? Do I want to activate? I don't want to have to buy 2 radios.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the back of the head unit and how it interfaces with that body. Because if they have a separation kit available for this, that'll make a really good mobile radio too.
I don't know if there's a picture of the back or not. I don't think there is.
Maybe they'll have a separation kit available where you can actually mount this in your vehicle. That would be pretty cool as well.
No, they don't really have a picture of the back here.
Otata said that they said it had the same receiver as the DX10.
Oops.
I'm waiting to see that stuff because they also originally said that it was full duplex, and it's not. So I'm kind of waiting for the official stuff to come out. So I'm interested in the add-on tuner, what the tuning range is. They just said, here's an add-on tuner for a long wire or a 50 ohm antenna. You should get it because it's a good tuner. So tell me the impedance range it can tune first, because I want to know.
So here's the thing. I'm unlike Dan. I'm not waiting on anything. The second the sucker comes out, I want it.
Right.
I've done told the finance company I'm gonna need a loan because this thing is happening more than I thought now, because now I've got to go from just this little head unit that I thought I was going to pay about $1,400 for, to which, now here's the thing: if you have any interest in having it for 100-watt radio, don't say, well, I'll just get the head and get the other later, because you're looking at
be more expensive,
way more expensive. So it goes from, well, now these prices are not set in stone either, because everybody's talking tariffs. All the dealers are talking tariffs. But what they released on the head was $14.99. So just for the QRP radio, $14.99. Or if you get the Optima, $18.99. That's $400 difference. But if you buy that amp just by itself, it's like $6.99.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Bob said HRO called him Friday to purchase it next week. If you have a reservation for one, you should be getting called anytime now.
Well, that's awesome, because DX Engineering did not give me that next week. They told me that nobody is supposed to receive them until the end of May, up until 2 weeks into June.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe HRO has an inside. Maybe I should have got it from HRO.
Maybe they'll just send out a 3D printed version.
They may.
I'll be interested to see the specs on the peripherals of it.
In my and I can be wrong, but HRO may have an inside track, but this is my thoughts. I know it. I'm almost 100% sure they're going to reveal it in Dayton, but I don't think you're going to see them up there for sale. I think you're going to have to wait.
Radioactive said HRO called me Friday, took my payment over the phone, and said I should have it in hand first week of June.
Yeah, that is exactly what I heard. That is exactly what I heard. Last week in May to the first 2 weeks in June. So that's what I heard there too.
Said they would be available in Dayton. Interesting. I don't know how many. I'm sure it'll be a mad bum rush to the Yazoo booth. But
well, the Yazoo booth won't have them to sell. I can go ahead and tell you that, and it'll be at vendors.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe they will be in Dayton. But like I said, that I know nothing. This is just my guess. I'm guessing that it will be revealed there, but I don't know about sold there. No, you won't. I don't think you'll see a proto. I think you'll see the actual thing in Dayton, Brent. That's my opinion. That's just an opinion. That's all I can give you. I'm not going to drop it's going to be there or anything like that. That's just an opinion. I think it'll be there.
I'm going to let the rest of y'all suffer and report to me, because I'm going to wait for a couple firmware revisions to go through.
I can tell you that if it is actually there to see in Dayton, I will have a video out before I even leave the complex on it. So it may be in a glass case.
How's the Wi-Fi signal there?
I can't remember. I'm preparing. I'm taking my stuff to prepare to be live, but if not, it'll be a video drop.
in either case, it's only a couple of minutes difference, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I would love for DX Engineering to call me before Dayton and tell me, hey, we got you. We're ready. But I talked to them personally.
No, your luck it'd be mine too if I went to Dayton. They'd be like, yeah, we're not going to have them until after Dayton. And then you get a message that the thing's sitting on your front porch while you're in Dayton.
No, they'll have to take my payment first. They have yet to take my payment.
That'd be my luck. I'd be like, damn.
I am glad to see that people are paying HRO up front though, because that means those prices are probably going to stick.
I hope for HRO's sakes, because if they're hedging their bets a little bit, they could win or lose on that one. It really all depends on what they get the radio for, wholesale from Yaesu, which I don't think we're ever going to know that number. But
Mike says, I finished West Virginia a couple of weeks ago and still no award. Is that not a thing? To my knowledge, there is no West Virginia Hunter Award, because I know several people who's got it, and
yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah.
And this is what I would say. I really don't want to be the one that does it, but there is a forum that is ran by the POTA board in Dayton, and I would love for some people to ask the questions on, how come they can add certain awards but not other awards. I'd love that. I'd love to, because I'll be honest, I'm not butthurt for myself. I'm butthurt for my big sister. That she's got 25 Eagles and can't get that award, and that is a lot of work.
That is crazy.
But yet they'll produce a new hunter award for more hunters. If you can produce one, you can produce them all. That's my opinion.
I'm not very familiar with the awards back end, so I can't really chime in with an opinion there. One way or the other, I'm not sure if one's maybe easier to make than the other. I just don't know.
I agree. He says that sucks. Well, I will tell you, there is a West Virginia activated all states. If you want to come over and activate them all, you can get an award for that, because one's sitting right over there.
Should have your picture on it, like holding the king's scepter.
Well, it kind of looks like me when I don't shave.
Yeah,
it's a big old black bear. Yeah, I agree. I think there should. I mean, I'm not an IT person or anything like that, but I don't know how hard it is if you're already dropping certain awards to just drop another award.
I think the Eagle stacked award, like the Prowler, Trapper, Master Sports Person, and the Activator equivalents, I think, don't they have the pictures of the person who first won that award on them?
Supposedly, yes, but from what I understood, they stopped doing that.
Okay. Oh, a roving tax. He's trying to finish up. Hey, check out this guy's goal, and I think it's interesting. Here we are in Shenanigans talking radio, but it's cool.
I know it. It's just crazy.
Whiskey One and Whiskey Charlie, one of his goals for the first year of him being a POTA activator is to activate all of Alabama, which I think is freaking awesome. Freaking awesome. And I have not, sorry, Brian, but I have not been following his roves like I should have been, because I can probably pick up a lot of new to me parks too. Well, so Brian, you're just going to have to do it again next year, buddy.
I would like to put out a friendly warning to Brian, because I once knew a guy who said he was going to get all of his state in his first year of POTA, and he did it. Mm-hmm. He did it in 8 months. And here it is years and years later, and he's about to stroke out in the field because he's still out there doing activations every day. Got to watch that stuff. It's a bit addicting. So
what you're saying is in a couple of years, we might see the Whiskey One, Whiskey Charlie challenge?
You might. Listen,
Heavy as the crown.
It's heavy, man. I'd love to put it on somebody's head. Him and Max both is tearing up a lot of stuff, you know. And if Dom was 20 years younger, I probably wouldn't be wearing it.
You know.
So, yeah, Brian's tearing it up. There's something about doing your whole state in the end of first year. I don't know what it is, but I've heard other people say they're going to do it and fail.
It's a good challenge, but
there's just something to it. You know, I had been to all the state parks in my state before because I used to be a geocacher, and I did a thing where I hunted a geocache in all the state parks. So I had been to all the state parks, but all these wildlife management areas, it's a different experience.
You mean all the banjo places?
Yes.
Yeah, you haven't been to the banjo parks yet. Yeah.
Well, like I said, there are parks that I go to, and after I go to them, I always have no desire to never go back to them. Yeah. And it's funny because people will say, "Hey, can you tell me about this park you activated back in 2020?" No, I can't.
I remember the parking area, and that's it, buddy.
Most of the time, I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Dude, I will go out and activate 1810 and 9740 back to back, and I'll be at 9740 saying you're 5'9", 1810.
Yeah. KE6GAE. What's going on, buddy? Welcome. But yeah, getting back to what you said about Dom, it's so true. Can you imagine if POTA was around, say, 15, 20 years ago, and it was active as it was now? Dom would be unstoppable.
Yep. So
he would put you and Carrie to shame. Be nuts. It would be nuts.
Dom's a beast.
Banjo Parks Lives Matter. That's for sure.
I would love to slow down. I just can't. My brakes don't work.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody can build me a runaway POTA ramp where I can go up that sucker, I'd love to slow down, but I just can't. Like it's some kind of, you know. I went to the doctor and he said, well, maybe we should send you up to the ER and have them admit you for overnight. And I said, no,
can't do it, man. I got to activate.
I didn't tell him that, but I just told him no. I said, I got stuff I got to do.
Didn't you tell the nurse at the hospital, the year before last, that you had to activate? And she was like, you had to what?
Yeah. She probably thought I was getting a perm that night.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know that Yazoo's gonna it's gonna be interesting to see. That's for sure. I look forward to getting one. I don't look forward to paying for one every month of my life.
Right.
But I have found this magical thing called credit, and it lets poor people like me buy stuff that I want. Unfortunately, they still charge you for that stuff every month.
No. It allows poor people like us to buy stuff that they can't afford. Went to the doctor, and guess what he said? No more PZN shouting QRZ. Yeah. He said, boy, you just got to have fun. I'm
going to say that you should have put that on the 2 Live Crew naughty nursery rhymes, because that's just naughty right there.
Oh, I was thinking Sinead O'Connor.
Kilo 40 Tata says use Sherry credit even better. Well, I do. Because I've been married before, so we all know that my credit ain't going to buy it. But I pay that bill. If I get something on credit, I pay that bill.
I heard a rumor that Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie was going to buy 3 of them.
He does have one reserved at HRO at Gigaparts and DX Engineering.
Like one for him. And see, this might turn into like an Explorer mast problem for him. So he might end up with 6 of these things. And I'm sure, I don't know. James, do you know anybody that might want one?
Well, I tell you what, if he wants to buy 3 and then make a trip to West Virginia, and drop one off like he ended up doing with the mass, I won't complain.
That's right. Heck, I'd drive to Huntsville.
True.
Matter of fact, if somebody wants to buy me one, I'll drive to wherever you're at. I don't care if you're in Washington State.
I'll agree with that. If you would like to POTA with the king, all you have to do is buy him one of these new radios.
There you go.
Please do that before I purchase one on credit, though.
No, because even if you purchase one, you'll be able to unload it, to somebody else quick, probably.
Terry says, I need new tires.
Yeah.
Your hover on tires already wear out, Terry.
You know what's funny about that, Terry, is that's just a little bit shy of what a new set of tires would cost me for the truck.
All right. Well, no. Let me put this in perspective for you guys. Okay. I'm going to put this in perspective. Yeah. I'm saying you guys can. Ian got his first kilo. Good, congratulations! I seen the picture and clicked like on Facebook, but I'll congratulate you here. Congratulations very much.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this in perspective. Sherry has a 2025 Nissan Kicks, okay? And for 3 months, that thing sat in the shop where she hit a deer. Okay. Before we went to Huntsville, I just had to put new tires on that thing. If that tells you how much POTA gets done in that car. So it's not that I don't give back, guys.
The little sticker that they put on there at the oil change place says, your next oil change is at this many miles or this many parks.
Mine says, see you next week.
Yeah. Like, what is it, Wendy's that says see you tomorrow?
We'll put it this way. That car has had 2 oil changes in the state of Florida.
Wow. You're only down there for a freaking month.
It was 2 different years, but
okay. I thought you meant both in February.
The last 2 years down there, it got oil changes down there. So
that's great.
Actually, this last time I got an oil change in Kentucky for it because the place that we use local here, they kind of did some stuff that wasn't exactly right when the last time I was there. So,
well, you need to be careful of your tire guy too, because it'll mess up your Eagle One.
No, I don't. That was tires for me when I used to buy the cheap stuff. So.
You go in there to get a tire change and come up and your Eagle One's all messed up. It's like, what the hell does this have to do with my tires, guys?
Speaking of which, I need to fix my Eagle One before Dayton.
Is your on your Eagle One, is your the entire thing is orange, right? Not just the bottom section.
No, what do you mean?
Like when you raise it up, it's orange all the way.
Oh yeah. It's orange all the way up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about getting one of those poles and trying to DIY one again just to see.
Yeah, it's easy to see. We'll just say when I got that thing up, you can see me very, very far. That's for sure.
Terry said try getting some new used retreads. Yeah, you can find those on the side of the interstate, real cheap.
Terry, if you're looking for some used tires, I can tell you a good place that's close to you. I used to buy tires from them quite a bit. with the Nissan because I couldn't afford new tires as much as I run through that thing to death.
If anybody's seen, excuse me, if anybody's seen my Eagle One, I painted the bottom section cyan, which was just one of my favorite colors. I'd love to paint the whole thing cyan, but the problem is up and down, up and down, up and down. Eventually, it's gonna get that weather distressed look to it because it's gonna scrape the paint.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to use. I don't know if they cast the actual fiberglass in that color that they sell because it won't really scratch. So it's interesting to see, but I think it'd still be cool to paint the whole thing in cyan and just let it
does
get
have
the natural scratching.
It does have a little bit of scratching on it,
Yeah.
but not like it's scratching through and there's another color under it. So
it might be cool. It might be cool to do that and just let it scratch through and just let it get that weathered look to it.
Never know. Your antenna looks good, but I've never really paid attention when it goes up that it wasn't that color. I'm just used to mine, and yeah, each section I see it's orange as can be. I should get some orange wire the same color. No.
There you go.
That way it's when it's wrapped, it's got orange.
Yeah, mine has some battle marks on it. You can see where it scratched through the paint, and just where I've had it in the back of the truck, it's been jostled a little bit, but gives it character.
How many parts you got left there, Brian, for today? I seen he had like 12 listed for today.
Yeah. Hopefully the bands have been acting better.
Last time I was out, they wasn't. I'm hoping after this stream that A, the bands are better, and B, the weather is better.
Yeah.
It's done nothing but lightning storm. There's been a couple times here in the last week where I'm literally just holding my phone, watching the lightning app the whole time. And there's times where I just have to hit the power button, unplug, and then I QRT, say what QRT lightning. Because it's been some I guess there'll be plenty of May flowers. It's May now. The April shower should be over with, please. Can we see these May flowers?
You're curious what I'm doing. I got a fan back there that I can control. And for some reason, it was on one of those natural breeze modes where it like ramps up and then goes down to try to make it feel like it was aggravating the crap out of me. And I had to change it.
And of course, if anybody wants to know why Dan has a fan down there, it's because Dan don't wear pants when we stream.
I don't.
So,
matter of fact, just below here is where my halter top stops. Yep.
So Ian did one yesterday and got 13 contacts in 25 minutes. Hey, 13 contacts is an activation.
There you go.
A lot of people will say this about me. They're like, "Well, you were only there for so long." Yeah, but that's because I don't have that
patience.
Patience. Yes, I don't have that patience. Dom has patience. Dom could sit and call CQ for 45 minutes and not get a single call. I cannot do that. If I call CQ 3 times and don't get a call, it's either A, time to hop, or B, time to QRT and go to the next park. So
I can call CQ. I mean, it doesn't even hurt my voice. I just hit a button on the front of the radio.
Well, I used to have a radio that did that. As a matter of fact,
until somebody,
everybody, please remind me that when I do get this new Yazoo radio, do not let Dan touch it at any Ham Fest this year.
Oh man, I totally forgot in Murphy too. I was going to look at it just to see if we can figure out why it's doing it. That makes no damn sense whatsoever.
Well, here's the thing.
You watched me. I never even went into those. That's so weird.
Here's the thing. Once I do get this new radio, I'm going to be so wanting to play with it that I'll either A, reset the DX10 and totally redo it and it'll work again, or I will send that sucker back to Yazoo and let them fix it and come back the Super Yazoo like they did with the 991A.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll be like, I don't know why this thing does 1,000 watts now, but it's pretty cool.
Every time I key up, it gets hot. Yeah, Mo, how did your rove go yesterday? Because the bands were absolutely atrocious. Did you get the park one that you wanted to get?
Mo, I'm sorry, but Mo had a blast yesterday with Eastern Standard Time
Eastern.
and Q4 Alpha. That's something I'd do, Mo. I had to call you out on it.
I know he was going for 10 or so.
Yeah, they got me twice.
Y'all keep an ear out this weekend. I'm going to be going to a rather rare park in Georgia. I need 3 more for Georgia. 2 of them are multi-state and actually up near the Carolinas. I'm sure I can. I'm sure I can commission somebody else to go get those. But the other one that I need, I'm looking at my Ham alerts, is about an hour and a half or so. No, hour and a half, 2 hours or so away from me. So I think me and Jumbo Marshmallow are going to go over there and get that park. And it is, I'm sure. See, the way I look at Georgia parks is if I need it, probably a whole bunch of people need it. I know it's kind of vain. Yeah, this park only has less than 500 QSOs total. It's Rogers Wildlife Management Area, 3771. So look for us there this weekend. Hopefully get good bands and probably a pretty good pile up to boot.
So it's Sunday, so that is this weekend, Dan. So I'll expect you there after the stream, and we'll get a party park.
No, the new week starts on Sunday, according to the calendar. So that'll be this coming weekend.
Yeah, the new week starts, but you said this weekend.
Yeah, this coming weekend.
Hey, welcome, Dennis.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? So that'll knock me down to 2 that I need for Georgia, and probably chunk Josh some gas money or something to go get the other ones.
Oh, is it in that side of Georgia? Why?
One of them XO activated on his little 10 park rove on Saturday morning.
You were just there. You were just there.
Right.
Matter of fact, that park that you're probably talking about.
The reason why I missed them is I did not have them in my Ham alerts because they're multi-park references, and the CSV export didn't pick them up, and I didn't even think about them.
Hey, welcome, Tim from England. Good to see you, buddy.
It's late over there, buddy. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, I think the one you're talking about, I was supposed to do the North Carolina side while I was down there, and ended up not getting to do it, I don't think.
Let me see which one it is. It is, let's see. One of them is a relatively new one. Yeah, Southern Nantahala. And the other one is the Chattooga National Wild and Scenic River. Chattooga.
I can't remember which one it was I was supposed to do and didn't do, but because both of them sound familiar to me.
Yeah.
But I was doing the North Carolina side, so it wouldn't have done you no good anyway.
I'm sure I can enlist some people up in that area to go grab them.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Murphy. They got plenty of activators. There's plenty of people there that, I mean, think about it. A lot of people ask me, why did you go to Murphy for a meetup? Well, number one, that is my biggest Patreon area, period. That part of the area of the United States is where I have more Patreons than any other place, bunched together. But for one city, well, they're not all from the same city, but for one city that somebody can drive to within 15, 20 minutes, there is a ton of activators there. An absolute ton.
A good number of parks too. Yeah.
You here in Logan, well, you got 2. There's more than that to activate, but if you don't activate more than 3 times a year, you're not an activator.
Yeah, they're close to me too, Bill. Unless 20 is running really short, it's going to be 40 meters for me too.
Then Charleston, There's about 3, I think. I could be wrong. There might be more, and if I'm leaving somebody out in Charleston, I'm sorry. But I'm thinking Lee and Terry and the 7 call that's a transplant. I'm thinking that's all the people that activate in Charleston, and that's the capital. Huntington, you've got Reed, and they're getting more active because they've got a couple of school clubs down there. One of them's in Hamlin, right outside of Huntington, and one of them is Marshall University has a radio club, and they're starting to work a little bit. So now you get up north, Pete and them, they got more activators up around Morgantown than we have down here. But still, as far as activators, Murphy's got a ton sitting in one spot.
Is there a date for the group activation in Dayton? I'm not going, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, yes, every evening.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This is the face of no privacy.
Yeah.
So I will get there on Thursday, and I'll probably have to punch people in the face in order to leave on time to go to the QRP event Thursday evening. And then every evening, I will get back to my campsite, and there will already be 15 or 20 people sitting there waiting. So yes, it's every evening, Mike, for sure. Just come by any evening, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love everybody coming over to my campsite.
Terry said that Terry said they happen spontaneously, no matter if he's asleep at the table or not.
We'll tell you how easy it is. As soon as I pulled in the boundaries of the campground, I picked up my 2 meter, and we had a call-in frequency for everybody that was in our group. And I said, CQ POTA. By the time I got to my campground, I had 23 or 24 contacts in the log. This is from the gate of the campground to my campground.
That's great.
So yeah, there's that. And then on top of that, when we do the big activation, everybody else who's staying in that place fire up their radio and decide they're going to activate and just on us and turn in a log.
That's right. Brent wants to know if you can crash in Friday evening. Absolutely. I assume that's the answer.
I'm sure we will have room, Brent. We always do. I know there's 3 spots together, and somebody's right across from us.
If there's no open chairs, buddy, I'm sure there's a lap or 2 to sit on.
Oh yeah. I don't think Clarice is cuddling, so Terry will probably need a cuddle person, Brent. You know.
Well, after what Terry did to Clarice, she's not in the cuddling kind of mood.
Now, you know they rekindled their love down in Murphy, right?
Well, that's what I've been told, but they don't forget. She's always going to have that little side eye going. You know, what are you up to, Terry?
No. But yeah, Dayton's going to be a lot of fun. I need to work out the logistics of the game I want to play in Dayton, and when I want to play that, because it's going to be fun. But I think I need to order something, so I better order it.
Are you going to give away an FTX1X or FT1XX1, whatever the crap they're calling it? That's a horrible model name, by the way. It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I have to look at it every time before I say it, so I don't feel like an idiot. So, but yeah, I wasn't expecting the twist with the amp. I wasn't expecting it at all. And now PP Man's going to give me crap because I said, why would you get a QRP radio and then get an amp to make it do 100 watts? Because I'm not technically getting a QRP radio. I'm getting a 100-watt radio that I can pull a QRP unit loose from.
It'll be really, yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, it'll be really interesting to see if they have a separation kit for that, so you can turn into a 100-watt mobile.
I
Because the
think
amp does 100 watts on HF, 50 on V&U.
I think I seen something somewhere, and it might not even be that capable, but one of the cables is not extendable.
Wow.
So it probably is that one, I would say.
Every cable is extendable if you can cut the damn thing in half. That's the way I look at it.
Eric, once everybody gets these new Yaesus, I'd say there'll be a lot of 705s on sale.
Yeah.
That's right. Hit that like button before it's too late. That's how to keep getting this good television programming. Brent, when you watch this stream at home, do you run it with the old TV where you used to cut off and do the countdown and they do the ooh for the rest of the night?
No, he has to grab the rabbit ears and get them in, the ones with the tinfoil balls on the end of them, for better reception. Yep, there. Yep, wait. Yep, there's Shenanigans. Leave it right there. Don't touch the TV.
We did a stream like that 2 Sundays ago, and nobody got the memo, and nobody was twisting the rabbit ears. That's why I was cutting out.
That's exactly what it was. That's right. You needed to rotate your vertical for better signal.
Oh,
Andy Cowley, what's going on, buddy?
So did you play much radio today, Dan?
I hunted 2 or 3 people, and I said, all right, I think I've had enough of this.
So the 2 or 3 people you hunted, were they 5.9 1 minute and 4.4 the next?
It was bad.
Because that's how that last sideband activation went for me today. Like, I'd hear a pile, I'd call a person, they wouldn't reply. I'd call the person again, they wouldn't reply. I'd say QRZ, and they'd be right back in that pile calling again.
Yeah, I didn't know what signal reports to give, so I just said 2259.
Yeah,
and they were like, huh?
Yeah, it was very up and down. The Duke of Alabama gave me a 2.2. He was a 5.9 to me, but I got a 2.2 from him. So that's how up and down they were.
Yeah, it's not a very long jump either for 40 meters. So.
No, and Terry, I heard Terry. This is the funny part. The first time Terry called me, I heard him and Sherry. I worked Sherry, and then I called Terry. Nothing. I called Terry again. Nothing. I called Terry again. Nothing. I went QRZ, worked about 2 or 3 people, said QRZ again, and Terry's right back in here. And he gave me a 5.7. Now, this is the funny part, though. Terry sounded the same both times. He was a 5.9, not over or under, a 5.9 both times. Sounded exactly the same. The second time, he had his amp on. Wow. So his amp made absolutely zero difference in that, other than he heard me. I think he's been investing into the Charlie Golf Charlie. You can hear better with that power.
Well, everybody else gets out of your way quicker. That's why you can hear better. Yeah, you can hear better because you blew out everybody else's front ends, and they can no longer transmit because they can't hear nothing.
Yeah, but he sounded absolutely no different. That was weird. So, but you on that first CW activation on the day, you were about 20 over.
You were loud here. Yeah, the first one, yeah. What's weird is the last couple of days, you've actually been louder on sideband than you have on CW, which I know the bands are wonky. So maybe I'm just listening at the time they're, doing their little wavy thing. But yeah, it's been weird.
Yeah. Now, the first CW activation today, it was great. I mean, I had plenty of people. Worked all kinds of people, CW. And the second one, about half of that.
Yeah.
And the third one, I did sideband. I just did sideband because I just said, I think I'm done with it after sideband.
Charlie Golf Charlie says, honestly, I usually am barefoot, maybe 200 watts on the Kenwood, but barefoot.
And 200 watts is an awful big barefoot.
Boy, it's like that 101 MP barefoot.
You should cut that down to 183, Chris. It's a better number. That's what I tell everybody if I ever got the MP, the 101 MP, I'd run 183 watts.
I drive mine at about 15, but between 10 and 15. And I've had to change that, Eric, because after I sent mine off to the guy down in Florida to get it repaired, he put in a new PA module because it was toast. And I used to have to run like 20, 25, 30 watts to get what I wanted out of it. But I don't know if they're new PAs that they're running now, and the ACOMs just have better transistors in them. But now I drive it like 10 to 15 watts, and it's plenty.
Yeah. If I'm running 10 to 15 watts, there's something wrong. Well, no, I take that back. I could be doing CW. I'll do 5 watt CW. It doesn't bother me.
Oh yeah, you still get out fine.
But now when the bands are like they are, I do 33 watts CW. That's what I run.
I can definitely. All right, so to be honest with you, all right, so let's talk about doubling power for a minute. If I run 50 watt sideband and 100 watt sideband, I can't tell the difference on the number of people that are calling me. It's all the same to me. But on CW, if I run 5 watt CW versus 10 watt CW, I can definitely tell I'm getting out further.
And it depends. There's some late shifts. I can't tell a difference if I'm running 83 watts or 5.
Or 1. Yeah. Yeah, I've been there.
Because I'll start getting tired and I'll start turning it down.
And it don't matter. It doesn't it? It's like, I wish this pilot would thin out a little bit.
I'm like, man, I wish this Yaesu would go below 5 watts.
Just turn off the antenna tuner.
Well, I've been using the Celigus a lot, so that wouldn't do me no good anyway.
I'll have somebody go over there, not me, while you're talking on the damn thing and move it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could do that for me.
No.
Yeah. I've got to see Dan get shocked twice now by antennas.
Yeah. But
see, the second time was on purpose.
Wait, the second time was on purpose, but I was also expecting it, so it wasn't nearly as surprising. I did not scream like Rachel the second time.
Yeah, the first time he did scream like Rachel.
Yeah. Lay the antenna on the ground. That'll do it. Yeah.
You would think. I have videos of me with the antenna laid on the ground and still working the power.
Did I tell you about my Eagle 1 rebuild in the house?
When you had it through the house, yeah.
I don't know if anybody else heard this, but I was stringing a new feed line. Well, not feed line, new wire through my Eagle 1 to replace the stock wire that came with it. And I had it all 31 feet of this pole strung out through my bedroom, through my kitchen, like kind of catty corner across my house. And I called Josh on the 40 meters with my KX2. And I made a QSO with him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Listen, this is why I say, now don't get me wrong. There's certain antennas that I'll tell you flat out are way better than other antennas. But the best antenna to use is what you got.
That's
because
right.
I can't tell you the times that my pole has fell out of the tree and my wire's been on the ground, or I didn't have my Celigus spiked down and it was laying on the ground and the pileup was too big to stop, and I just hit my internal antenna and tuner, make sure we're good, and I keep running until that pileup stops. Then I say, all right, guys, hold on a second, and then.
Poor Steven up in Indiana does a whole dang activation with his Eagle 1 with a wire still coiled up on the outside of it, laying in the bed of his truck, and didn't realize it. And I'm like, you're kind of light here, but I still hear you.
That's funny, and it's easy to do. You get in a hurry when you're setting up, and I did it one day. I I got in my car, and I'm like, what's wrong with this? It doesn't sound right. And I go around back of the car, and it's still setting on. It's in the hitch, but it ain't extended.
Yeah. Yeah. Or when I forget, when I forget to hook up the little ground clamp for the Eagle One.
You probably didn't tell much of a difference, did you?
The only difference I really tell is if you touch the right spot on that tuner where the paint's kind of rubbed off a little bit, you'll get a little zap out of it. But other than that, no.
I mean, it works a lot better when it's grounded, but
it was harder to tune. Well, see what I noticed, if you run an automatic tuner or even a manual tuner, and you know where those knobs are for certain antennas, certain bands, you'll know when something's up with your antenna system. You'll get used to it. Like when I tune on 20 meters, I know how long it should take to find a match.
Mm-hmm.
And it was taking a little bit longer than what it normally does to find a match. So I knew something was wrong with the antenna system, you know.
Well, the reason why I said you probably couldn't really tell that much. You can tell, but there's not a real big, because when she first got that car and it didn't have a hitch mount on it, I used to run the drive on, which meant I had to put out radials because I didn't have a grounding strap grounding it. So.
If nobody gets this comment, Chris says, I got in a vehicle one time, and then he says, but I knew what the problem was. He kind of pulled his coax through the garage and about ripped everything off of the table.
But there was times when I'd get to a park and I was just like, it's raining, I don't want to put out radials.
Yeah.
And I would just run it and make plenty of contacts.
Oh yeah.
So
just
get out there and have fun with no matter what antenna you got.
That's right. That's the name of the game. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Absolutely. POTUS all about fun.
Man, this hour has flown by. What are we doing talking about radio stuff on Shenanigans?
I don't know. Now everybody's going to be expecting us to do that more often, aren't they?
No, we're going to have to pick pick a non-radio topic for next week's Shenanigans.
Don't worry. We won't do it, guys. We'll talk about radio on Wednesday, but we won't do it. We won't bore y'all with all that radio stuff every week on Shenanigans. It has flew by, and that's probably why, because we're talking about radio, and radio seems to excite us for some reason or another. I don't know why. Speaking of radio,
we're not normal.
Well, I just need a shirt that says I'm not normal.
Yeah.
Just I'm not normal. But what you got coming up, Dan?
Man, the dreaded W word next week, and gotta save the pennies for that FTX1X1X1, whatever the crap model number is. Change the model number. It's ridiculous. It's kind of late in the game to do that now. But hopefully everybody has a great weekend, or had a great weekend, and have a great week coming up. And thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. And for me, if it's not lightning and being crazy outside, I'm going to go do an early late shift. And I might even do 2 late shifts. I don't know. I might feel cute and do 2. Who knows? But it's all weather depending, because the weather's been crap. Yes, right here. That's what we're talking about, and that's what I'm getting. So, but other than that, hopefully I'll catch everybody on the air for late shifts and early.
I read that as Panther and Throbbing.
Oh, no, it won't be. It won't be Panther and Tomlin. You know what? It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be. Let's see, 7 o'clock.
I mean, you never go anywhere else.
I could get the Panther and make it a twofer. That's a good idea. All right. Panther it is. My cousin called it. I don't know what the second one will be. It might be Tomlin. I don't know.
That would be hilarious.
All right. 73 guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you on the air.
See ya.